Hey, what's going on everyone? So today I'm making a video on the Good Smile US site. I wasn't really planning on making a video on them again, but there has been some recent updates. Basically a month or two ago I made a video about the US store and how their shipping fees were just way too high, and that it didn't really make any sense to order larger figures from them when better options were available, even from their own global website. If you'd like to watch that video, I'll leave a link in the description, but over the past week the company has actually rolled out some changes that I think are worth going over. They've talked about working on making shipping fees cheaper in the past, and it looks like that day has finally come. So let's talk about it and go over what's different. Unlike the previous video, I'm not going to be making any comparisons between stores this time. I just want to focus on the US store itself to keep this video short and to the point. So let's just start talking about some changes by comparing some shipping prices of various figures. I'm going to start off with Star Guardian Zoe from League of Legends, as she's a pretty big figure. She's already very expensive at $357. And you would expect that the shipping fees would be very expensive as well if you look at this thing. And they are, right? Because if you look here, the USPS priority mail shipping would have normally been $107, but it's slashed down to $53 if you pre-order it, because you get the 50% off discount. Before this update, that would have been your only option. But as you can see here, there's now FedEx and UPS. And if we look at UPS, we could see that it went from $47 to $23, or $24 if we round up. That is a significant drop in price, right? That's basically $30 in saving, and even if you weren't to pre-order this, you would still be saving a ton of money. Now, FedEx Ground and home delivery, those are also fairly comparable. They're definitely better than the USPS priority mail, but, you know, if you're trying to save money, the best option you have now is the UPS Ground option. And if we look at the Ghost Bride here, which is another high-profile, very big-scale figure, it's the same deal. The exact same prices, actually, from $53 USPS down to $23.82 for UPS Ground, and the FedEx prices are the same too. And you gotta imagine, right, that these two figures would probably be very expensive to import from any other site besides the global company. They're just very big, and you know that their packaging is going to be grand. You know that it's gonna take up a lot of space, and shipping fees are only going up. So, you know, to actually have an affordable American option straight from the actual company that makes these figures is a great thing to have. Alright, let's move on to the next figure I want to talk about, the Tanjiro Hinokami Kagura dance figure from Demon Slayer. Now, if you've seen this figure, you know that this thing is a behemoth, and surprisingly, it's way cheaper to ship than the other two figures I talked about already. If we look at the USPS option, it's $68 normally, down to $34, which is honestly not that bad, but the UPS Ground option is down to $17.79. For a figure this big, that is honestly really surprising, and even the FedEx options are only $24. This figure, which is likely going to need its own shelf, is only about $20 to ship now, which is great. Unfortunately, this figure is just way too expensive. I'm not about to buy this just because it's actually affordable to ship, and I'm sure many of you have that same sentiment. It's just a very expensive figure for a very specific person with a lot of money to spend, and that's fine, right? I just wanted to include this as the next bracket of lower shipping options for something that really you would expect to cost a ton to ship. So let's go way lower. Let's talk about Neeroids with Sans here. Typically a Neeroid would never cost that much to ship, right? These were usually the most reasonable things to buy from the Good Smile US site, typically costing about $10. And as we can see, it's the same thing here. It costs $8.87 to ship with the USPS priority. But even here, UPS Ground costs only $6 to ship. And while that's only $2, you're still saving money with this update to the website. Alright, let's do one more example. I have a group of 3 figures that are in stock, so I can combine them all together. Unfortunately, this is still not something you can do with pre-orders, though I don't want to get into that issue. But yeah, you can see here we have 2 Neeroids and a pop-up parade, and they only cost $14 to ship. Normally, they would have cost $24, so we're saving at least $10 here, which is great. And you know, FedEx costs around $20 as well, so you're still saving money if for some reason you just don't like UPS for some reason. Honestly, the way I see it, it does seem like FedEx is a bit redundant. It never really seems like you're saving money with them unless you just don't want to go with other options for some reason. But I guess it is still nice that it is available regardless. So as a bonus in this video, before I go to like my final thoughts, I wanted to go over the Canada prices because apparently they've adjusted that as well. Now, of course, I'm an American. I don't know specifically how the prices were before. I can only make a guess based on what I'm seeing here. Basically, what I'm saying is take it with a grain of salt. If you are Canadian, you should look these prices up yourself, but I figure why not go over these while I can. We're just going to run through the examples real quick. We have Zoe here, which originally would cost $68.86 with USPS, is now costing $63 with UPS Worldwide Saver, and FedEx is just so expensive that you should never use that ever. So you're saving $5, which isn't that much. Pre-ordering Tanjiro would cost you $54 normally with USPS, but now will only cost you $50. So again, you're only saving $4, but I guess it's better than nothing. And once again, FedEx is just so expensive that you shouldn't even consider that option. With the Sans Neeroid, we actually have a lot more options, the cheapest one seeming to be the USPS First Class Mail International. That might have already been the original one, I can't really tell looking at this, but that isn't too much more than what we're used to, so I guess that's fine. And then with our group order, it seems like the cheapest option here is the Global Post Smart Saver Standard International for $32. Honestly, just going through all of these make it seem like FedEx is really pointless. Don't really get why anyone would go with them in America, and I really don't get why anyone would go with them in Canada. But yeah, that's it for Canada. It does seem like they have a little bit of better options these days, though it's not really as good as what we're getting, though I guess that makes sense because they're in another country. As for those living in America though, this definitely does seem like a step in the right direction. There is still the issue of the American dollar compared to the Japanese yen though, because right now the dollar is just stronger than the Japanese yen by a decent amount, like 18 cents or so. And that's going to make it always cheaper to buy from the global site compared to the US site. And I know that's completely out of their hand, everything is priced 1-to-1, but it's just the fact that importing currently is still cheaper if you want to go that way. And I feel like I'd be lying if I didn't mention that fact. Also, be sure to check these prices on your own if you're interested in any of this stuff. Every figure is different and the shipping zone you live in will affect your prices. I happen to live on the East Coast, so my shipping fees are going to be higher than someone who's living in California, for example. But yeah, that's the video. Good Smile US has managed to drop their shipping fees by a significant amount with this update when it comes to their larger figures, and hopefully there's more changes to come in the future. I have to imagine the reason they don't offer combined pre-orders at the moment is due to their warehouse size perhaps not being big enough and the huge delays in receiving products from Japan. It would likely be a nightmare to try and manage all that while never really knowing specifically when figures are coming in, so maybe in the future when the ports clear up, if that ever happens, we could see updates for combined orders. Either way though, it's great to see Good Smile US is making changes that actually save us some money, and hopefully you guys found this video informative considering this information is still fairly new. Let me know what you think about all this down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like as it does help me out. And hey, if you want to watch more videos on anime figures, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care. See you later.